So today we will talk about just um, today's market and is it crashing? Is it still going strong, or what's happening? What's going on? So we'll discuss all of this today. And first, I wanted to stop on um, are we stop on the mortgages, right? Because that's truly what determines what's going to happen, and we've seen it happen. Can somebody mute? Lots of background noise. That must be Catherine. Not to put you on the spot. So back in 2017 or 18, we saw the couple measures that government has taken, and one of them was foreign buyer tax, so foreign investor tax, and also on top of that, they introduced the qualifying criteria at 5.25. Yesterday, I got an email from someone saying that the foreign buyer tax is introduced to all of the Ontario. It was to the just to the GTA area, but now it's all over Ontario because it seems like people are trickling out of the Toronto area. And I can see also that in the last year or so, let me finish my thought and I'll pass it on. You can ask a question. In the last year or so, I see the prices evened out between kind of Hamilton, St. Catharines, Kitchener, even London is getting up there also. So there's not a huge drastic difference. And I believe that I think that's the reason why, because investors from Toronto, not necessarily foreign investors, but the investors from Toronto, from Hamilton, from other cities going to that area because it was slightly cheaper. Winds are still kind of lower, but like I know St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, Font Hill, for the area, they were 30% lower. Now maybe 5-10%. So go ahead, Mike.
So that foreign buyers tax thing, I saw that announcement yesterday. I know they stretched it to all Ontario. I think they also increased the amount. I don't know what it currently was, but it's being increased to 20% and it's effective immediately. So
Yeah,
it's in force today,
and
province-wide.
Yeah, I believe it was 20%, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't dealt with that personally, but I always believe it was 20%. So I don't know why they're saying that. Unless some of the municipalities or jurisdictions had it at 15 or 10%, and now they just made it even across the border, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing, but the foreign tax, and I don't know if that's still happening. I mean, there are some other countries that foreign investors could be attracted more than Canada. I know we have stable economy, stable this, stable that. However, when you're talking about $700,000 for for 1,000 square feet home in Hamilton, you can buy a mansion in somewhere warm, rent it out, and make the profit that way, right? So it depends on the risk tolerance and that kind of stuff. But if you're foreign investor, you buy inside unseen. I don't think it matters that much, whether you're buying in Canada or the US or somewhere else for that matter, right? And the US market is again it's not depressed, but it's much lower than it is here. So, and you got to know, of course, the market where you're buying, but that's again regardless whether you're buying in Canada or anywhere else too. But the other component or part of this also the qualifying rate of 5.25, right? But as we all know, the bond rate is going up. That I assume that's correct, gentlemen, right? So once the bond goes up, the fixed rates are going up, and I've seen right now the interest rate are at 5 year at 3.35. What that means is that your qualifying rate is 5.25 or fixed rate plus 2%, whichever is higher. So you're 3.35 plus 2%, that's 5.35. So it's already higher than your qualifying rate. So you have to use that, and that's what hinders your buying power. So once we see but again, keep in mind, this is not across the border, because I still see 2.89, 2.9, 3% for 5 years. Some have increased, some haven't, but it's coming, right? So once that number sort of past the threshold, then you'll be losing buying power, and that may affect the pricing, obviously, right? However, because it's so, I don't want to say sporadic, but there's so many different options out there, right? We're talking credit unions, we're talking B lenders, we're talking A lenders, and not everybody's regulated by the same government body. So they don't, again, not everybody, in ideal storm situation, I guess, everybody would have to get that 5.5, or would have to be qualified on 5.5, for example, at the same time, in the same place, in the same city, and that would create a perfect storm, right? Do you know what I mean? But that's not going to happen. Not everybody getting the mortgage today in the same city and from the same lender. So we have so many options. So if we see somebody's buying power dropped, it doesn't mean that the price of the house is going to drop. They're just not going to qualify for that house. They're going to go for a lower house, and somebody else will qualify for that house. So it's it's hard to tell whether that particular thing going to affect the housing pricing at this point. Now, if it's going to be across the border, everything, then yes, it's. But we don't know how long that's going to take. Maybe a year, maybe two, maybe never. Who knows? Yes, Nathan.
So just so I understand what you're saying, are you basically saying that the inventory situation isn't really going to get any better for buyers right now because of the different options that people that are able to buy properties have in terms of seeking financing?
Say it again.
Like, I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. It sounds like what you're saying is that because all these different lenders, A lenders, B lenders, private lenders, they all sort of have different regulations around what they need to follow when they're approving and funding mortgages. It sounds to me like if I'm a foreign investor or just a high net worth person that wants to buy an investment property, I can still get a good deal on a mortgage. I just may not necessarily go to a primary bank. I may go to somebody else because of the lending criteria. So it's not really impacting the inventory problem by too much.
Well, I don't think there is a correlation between inventory and qualifying, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Inventory is simple supply and demand, right?
Right, but isn't demand based on people's ability to get a mortgage and
correct.
the area?
That's correct. But again, like I said, if they don't qualify for $800,000, they're going to qualify for $750,000, and that's what they're going to buy. That's been the reality for the last 5 years or more, or ever, because the house price is going up, and okay, Mr. Buyer, now you can't qualify for this house. You only can qualify for this. You want to buy or not? Pick one. And there's going to be some people that's going to be left out. They're going to continue renting, or go into partnership with someone and buy a house. Like today I was looking at some properties, and they say perfect for 2 families. Well, guess what? They're gonna side by side, they're gonna buy 2 families, or buy 2 families will buy one house, and that's it. And whenever they're ready, they may split up and buy another, or buy another one and and rent out that one. So there's so many different options, right? But yeah, it's like I said, the mortgages and real estate is so it's like investments, is like everything else. It's there's so many variables, and you have to play it on an individual basis. You have to see what applies, what doesn't. Like I said, with these interest rates, it doesn't scare me much because well, and first of all, this rule applies to what do you call it? Well, again, I don't want to say anything because there's so many different exceptions. So, but there's always option. I know some banks do it on a contract rate, some on a qualifying rate. So there's so many different ways. Like if that's the difference between dealing with the bank and dealing with the broker, because you go to the broker and they go, well, it's going to be 5.25 or whatever, right? But you go to a broker and I'll send you to the bank or to the credit union where they'll say, we'll qualify you on a 3.35. That's our contract rate, and you're going to be paying that for the next 5 years. So why would we be concerned? You know, what's going to happen after 5 years? Who knows? Like you know, it doesn't really matter. Which is kind of makes sense because how is it going to affect me? You know, I'm qualified for 5.25. I'm paying 1.55. It's not affecting me in any way. You know, if well, it does. It's going to affect because in that particular situation, it's going to affect because the primary is going to go up. Well, let's say I locked it in for 2.4 last year, and I'm going to be paying that for the next 4 years at this point. So why would be concerned, or why the bank would be concerned? What's going to happen in 5 years? We'll see. You know.
Yuri, I was just going to add, you were talking about that collaboration and buying. My son did that. He had a starter home in Parkdale and Queenston area. You know, a 2-bedroom, no basement, wartime house, right? When they sold, they had a tenant that's a single school teacher, and she'd been saving. And so, you know, my son and his wife took their profit, and Carissa took her money, and they were able to put $300,000 down on a home they got for $800,000 in change. I'm not sure exactly. And his mortgage didn't go up at all. His payments.
Yeah.
Right, because they did it together, and I don't know what their arrangement is, but I know it's an arrangement for 10 years with the lawyer, right? I said, I don't get it, but just do it through a lawyer. That was my only suggestion as a parent. I couldn't be more helpful than that. And I mean, they knew they could live together, and they've been in that house coming up on 2 years now. They bought during the pandemic, so it's really good.
When you have 2 incomes or versus one, that, or 2 or 3 or 4 versus one, that's makes it much easier to qualify. And then, I mean, this has been going on for a long time, especially when you have cultures with, and I think I've brought up this point many times. You have cultures with a multi-generational living is a norm. Then why not? Like I see, and those are I get very specific requests. We need 4 bedrooms with ensuite bathrooms. That's it. Like, meet that one criteria and we buy in a house. Simple as that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand that, because like, what's the difference? I mean, you know, big deal. You can share the bathroom. No, we need 4 bathrooms. Like, oh yeah, that's 4 families going to live there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and of course the parking situation, we need at least double driveway, right? So that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been going around for a while, but now what's gaining popularity is you know, 2 bodies getting together, or 2 friends, or even 2 families, right? And with 2 families, a little bit more complicated, because you know, you need their privacy. But you know, if you have 2 roommates, or like I said this morning, I saw like 4 roommates looking for the home, they're willing to pay $3,500, and I'm thinking, why wouldn't you buy, guys? You know, like for $3,500 cash, a monthly payment, you can afford to buy a house. Why not buy? Yeah, they might be making $40,000 each or something, or $50,000 each, but combined, that's $200,000. You know, income that they can qualify. Yes, they're gonna have the lawyer gonna go crazy. You have to put everybody on title, and I don't know, the sort of a shotgun clause where, you know, if somebody wants to get out, what happens, you know, those kind of things, right? So because I mean, things changing, they may get married, they may find a job, they may want to relocate. There's all kinds of complications in that kind of arrangement, but at least it gets you the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. I mean, do you have any other questions on this particular topic? Teresa, can you make me or can you enable me to share the screen?
Yuri, while you're waiting for that, I was just going to bring up, we have a little house on the corner as I come to work every morning on Wellington South. It's a 2-bedroom, 3 bath, sorry. But it's like seems like a 1-story, maybe it has a basement, there are no pictures. And it's up for $960.
Yeah,
Is that something that they're just like a pie in the sky, or is that
there's no
precedented, or
there is no rhyme and reason why people do things.
okay?
Some people are dreaming, some people are hoping. Well, and again, you don't know what's. My question is, how big is the lot? What's the zoning? I see properties like one property, 1,500 square feet in Beamsville or something like that, selling for $7 million. I had to touch my screen as like, is that 7 million or 700,000? Which one is it? You know?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was a 700,000. I'll respond to that, Nathan. The key for that is it comes with the 10 acres, which could be rezoned for 100 to 150, something like townhouses, right?
Right.
That's the difference. I had well, not I had. I've seen a house going for $1.5 million over the asking price. Keep in mind the asking price was $1.
Oh, I heard about that property. Yeah, that was like in Oshawa, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in Oshawa. Yeah, but I mean, there are many examples of that, and I would you kind of you want to smash that report. Is like, well, what are you doing? Like, this is ridiculous.
Hyping,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I saw this one. A buddy of mine posted on Facebook this morning, and it was like, I looked at the article just before we got together here, and it said the house was listed at one. And I thought to myself, okay, it's $1 million over asking. Like, what was the asking price? What did it go for? It sold for 2.33, listed at 1.3 in Whitby. And I'm like, it's a nice house, but to me, from my perspective, just based on this one picture, I don't think it's 2.33 nice. You know what I mean?
But is it really 1.3, or the similar houses going for 1.8 or 1.9? You know?
Well, that's of course, and you make a very valid point. It just blows me away that anything in Durham region would sell like, at least not in like in this size of house, would go for more than 1.5. Like, to me, that just seems absolutely crazy.
Right. Well, again, 2 weeks ago, I've seen something. Yeah, it was listed at 1.3, sold for $2 million. Very nice house. Whether it's worth $2 million, I don't think so. Probably 1.6, 1.7. But when you get, and we've discussed this, when you get emotional sort of thing and get involved in that bidding war, I'll come up another 50 grand. I'll come up another 50 grand, another 50 grand. And all of a sudden you're overpaid by $300,000, right? So
Yep. Yeah, it adds up, right?
yeah. So like I said, just wanted to lots of people asking where's the market is heading at this point, and this picture will show a little bit. And I've seen kind of properties listed to generate multiple offers, and they get 2 or 3, which is not too bad, or don't generate no offers whatsoever. Or like yesterday, we went to see the property and generated 19 offers still. So it depends what kind of strategy, depends what kind of property. That one was listed at $399, I believe, which is kind of to me that's totally unfair sort of thing, because even the impact assessment is 400,000. So if the impact assessment is 400,000, it should be the property value in a good state would be like almost $1 million or something like that, 900,000. That one was kind of dilapidated, so I'd say it's still worth about 800 or 750. I will see how much it's gonna go for. But yeah, I mean that's why I generated that 18 or 19 offers, and some of those offers could be 450, 420. Like there is no way they're gonna get that. It's just it's you setting kind of wrong expectations, and people don't realize that they're not going to get that right at that kind of price. But anyway, so looking at this, can you see this slide over here, or it's very small?
I can see it
See
okay.
I can see it okay.
So nowadays, this is as of last 7 days, right? Residential last 7 days. So we have on a Hamilton Burlington board, this is what we have: 410 listings, all kind of different listings, including or sorry, I shouldn't say that. These are the new listings, right? Not all of that we have on the market. So, and before we saw this and this sold very similar, or actually sold was more. Now it's new listings are actually double. So when you're saying, oh, the market is soft, it's not soft. It's just more properties coming up on the market. The price is not dropping because of that. It just we seeing a little bit more stabilized market, which is I'm happy to see that, because well, in my case, when I have lots of buyers, then it's hard to buy something when it goes for 300,000 over the asking price. With more properties on the market, we can actually bid and get bid on the property and get a listing price or a little bit actually less. So yes, Nathan.
I just wanted to confirm that new listing number, the 410, is that including the ones that are like back on the market, price decreases and price increases, or are all of those like brand new properties that haven't been previously
Those brand new? Yeah, these are there is a specific column for those, right?
Okay, I just didn't know if that was
these
like
are not, yeah, these are not included in 410.
What are these active CS and NS?
Yeah, good question. So active is conditionally sold, and active not showing.
Okay.
I don't know why would you ever have that not showing, because if it's active, why not show, right? Unless there's certain circumstances, and for sure that the property is sold, you're just waiting for the deposit. But I mean, it's only 1 day that you should get your deposit. So I don't know why you would ever change it to that status. But I mean, rightly so, it only 3, right, instead of 26.
And what about the cancels?
Canceled, it's well, we can go and take a look what's there. But we would have to go into each one to see what's Let me move you here. Yeah, see the canceled could be different reasons. Been on the market for 60 days. Obviously it's expired. Nobody bought it, right? 6 days, we can see the price increase actually going up versus going down. Then 14 days or 6 days, it could be also that they were trying to collect the offers. That didn't happen, so they canceled it and put it back on the market at the same price or something like that.
Yeah, I see the one there that's on Hamilton West. It's $1 million, 4 days on the market.
This one?
Yeah, Bowman, 47 Bowman. Yeah.
So they were trying to, they sold it in 2021. And now they're selling for $200,000 more.
But they canceled the selling after 4 days.
Yeah, they canceled, and I'll see why.
That's like Westdale area almost.
Yeah, it's the other side of Maine. It's
Walking distance from Mac University, right?
Yeah, it's right across the street from Matt. I was, for some reason, when I saw that, I was thinking West Mountain. I'm like, that street name sounds familiar.
10 bedrooms, yeah.
Yeah, they had, reviewed on offers graciously reviewed on April 5th. There's so many different things. They might have taken off the market. They may have a buyer. There's all kinds of different things. At this point, it's hard to tell.
or they weren't getting anywhere near what they were asking, maybe.
Yeah, or they not getting anywhere near what they. But I mean, well, 10 bedrooms, right? So
It's a
Yeah.
rental. It's a student rental.
$400, $500 a month, so you got $5,000. Like,
yeah, $5,000. So they probably, most likely, they were looking for a little bit more and not getting activity. So we might see it in the next day or two back on the market with 1.1 or 1.2 million, right? So
God, 10 bedrooms, my lord.
it's I don't know, we can go through the picture.
It's a townhouse.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the fixtures and the furnishings aren't exactly high end in a lot of these rooms, right? It's pretty basic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indestructible. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're not going to put quartz countertops or marble countertops in a rental because they probably figure the students will wreck it anyway.
It's not a townhouse, Catherine.
Is that all one home?
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
There's-
wow.
looks like there's at least 3 or 4 different entrances.
Yeah.
oh,
Okay.
there's at least 1, 2.
2 kitchens, yeah.
Yeah, 2 kitchens there, right? So
Yeah.
I think I saw at least 3 or 4 bathrooms.
yeah, well, there's
4 bathrooms,
bathrooms.
three plus 1.
4 bathrooms. Yeah, yeah. There's all kinds of different things, but let's go back to the actual numbers, right?
$6,500 a year for taxes. My God.
60,000.
My
No,
son,
6,500.
my
Yeah, yeah,
son
think
says
about
he's
it.
over 7,000 in Stony Creek in Winona.
Oh,
Yeah.
I said to him, no, I pay ridiculous for a condo, like a box, right? So don't say that the urban core is not paying our fair share of taxes. And then he told me he had 7,000. I went, never mind. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was supposed to put my hand up. Sorry.
You don't have to.
Okay.
no, the Hamilton taxes have been crazy for years in this town. It's just absolutely atrocious.
Well, we have the highest tax rate of any
No
city
way.
in actually in Canada.
St.
No,
Catharines
we're
has
not.
got nothing. Don't-
Toronto's like way lower
don't-
than us. You look
yeah,
at the
but
mill rate.
look at the industry they have. Look at, you go to St. Catharines, who's lost I don't know how many thousands of jobs at GM, and then all the little sub companies. The taxes for a little, my sister-in-law has a lot and a half, 3-bedroom bungalow, right, in a residential street. And she's been paying, the last time I was talking to her, which was probably about something like this, it was 5 years ago when we sold our last place. And she was well over $6,000, guys. They have zip for industry.
Mike, if I can correct you a little bit, we're not the highest. We're definitely, we're on the middle, actually.
Oh, okay.
More in the middle.
What's the highest number there?
So we're at 1.2%, along with Barrie, Cambridge. The highest is,
Peterborough is higher.
what's that?
Oh, my hometown, Peterborough, is 1.4.
Yeah, because Westinghouse closed, right?
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah,
we
but
look
you
at-
know, you have to look at this. Like, one thing is the tax rate. The other part's the property values, right? Right?
definitely,
Because the two things together, right? If you look at just the tax rate by itself, like Peterborough might be 1.44%, but if their houses are 10% less than ours, then similar property might actually be cheaper there than here. Like it because you got to look at both those things, right?
yeah, the carry.
Well, you can look at it, you can ultimately look at it from, like, say, by the square footage versus by the percentage of the property values, right?
Yeah. Well, the carrying cost for sure, that's would be reflected or would be affected by that, and rightly so, because you have 0.6, and then you have Windsor 1.8 3 times literally. Yeah, you can't afford a huge house there, right? In Windsor, let's put it that way.
Good thing it's more affordable, yeah.
Well, it's more affordable, but at 1.8, you'll be paying through the nose, right?
So, yeah, and they've been decimated by loss of industry, right?
Yeah, that's why the housing is not going up. Like, but even St. Catharines, it's gone up in price because of the pure demand, right? People don't. This part is being overlooked slightly because on 400, 500,000, people didn't care much what they were paying in taxes versus they would have to pay another $200,000-300,000 closer to Toronto, right?
Mm-hmm. Niagara, back, 2006, I believe, I was working for the region for a short period, and they said that Niagara region was actually the highest populace of seniors in the country. I thought it was always Vancouver, or not, Victoria, that kind of area. So yeah, Niagara's reinventing itself as the recreation and stuff like that.
I actually think Brantford has it beat. I think Brantford's at 1.85%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
Brantford, Ontario.
Radford or Brantford?
Brantford, just down the road. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all.
I mean, you have to search it on Google, but it says that Brantford property tax is 1.85%, which is pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah. Well, it all makes sense, obviously, the higher the taxes, the lower the value. In majority of the cases, there's always an exception. It's almost I have to put a disclaimer. There is always an exception, So, and again, like as we can see here, I'm gonna move this because I don't see it. Days in the market. Remember, this is 400 over the last 7 days, right? So we can
Look
see.
at that. They have a detached house in Hamilton for 450. They're not all above 600 anymore.
450.
It will be though.
I thought I saw one for 450. There it is. Oh shoot.
That one that Yuri was talking about, that was over off Dundurn Street area, was it not? That had been listed for $399.
Well, again, the offers will be collected on April
Yeah.
5th, so don't expect it to be at that price at 449. And especially depending on a house, right? So yeah, it's not doesn't look great from the outside.
It's going to be probably sold to like a first-time home buyer or an investor.
Yeah, it's still, I mean, it's not the fully renovated or one of those sparkly things. I'm not a big fan of those black borders. If they were just white, that would have been even so much better. But otherwise, it's still gonna go for much more than 4.49.
Oh,
But-
that's right beside Center Mall too,
Yeah.
or whatever they call it.
Something I want to see, and I think I've shown you before, right? That if I do, not that. Days on the market, I'll put 12 plus days. As you can see, there's 2,478 houses on the market that's 12 days or over, meaning that there is most likely there is no bidding wars on those properties, right? And we have about 215 in Hamilton.
Is this software that the public can access, or is this just
No.
for the realtors?
It's proprietary to us.
Glen Road, 900,000. Wow.
So if we do this, there's still houses that at 200 or apartment, I guess, at 200, 300, something like that you can buy, and instead of paying $3,000 like those guys, right? And like they see this one dropped the price. So let's take a look at this one. 36 days on the market, right? It is Bigger Avenue North, so I assume it's right at the industrial zone somewhere. Sherman, and yeah, this is right there. There's Burlington right here.
There's a plant right there, guys, you don't want to live beside, okay?
Lockridge.
Smelly in the summer, I bet.
It is horrible. It recycles expired alcohol and beer. Yeah.
Why is it horrible? Come on.
That doesn't sound that bad, actually.
Well, the smell is, it's like being in a poultry factory. If you've ever been in one of those.
Well, I mean, obviously the smell probably.
So you're telling me it's going to smell like chicken and beer? There's the downside.
Stale beer. Imagine beer with cigarette butts in it for a month. Yeah.
But,
Okay, now you're starting to sell me on the bad smell.
but
I like the way he did the siding there. He ran out of the one color, so he got two different other colors.
Highlight.
This is exactly what I was going to point out.
It's an accent tile.
It's like he bought leftover lots.
Yeah, see that's and the other thing, they show the front of the property. I thought that's going to be a fully renovated property, beautiful property inside. But the fact that it's only 3 pictures, and Mike pointed out that a different siding. I don't want to know what if there is renovation. I hope they didn't do any renovations because I don't want it.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Cheapo flippo.
So, and the purchase price is, the impact assessment is 154,000.
6 years ago.
Well, yeah, but it's still, everybody's on the same page, so they're pricing it at 3.5 times more or less. So it's yeah, to me, it's high to begin with, but again, market dictates the price. But you can still probably buy it for 3.99 or even less. But I guess the question is, the question you want to ask yourself, do you want to live in that neighborhood as well, right?
You know, 100-plus-year-old house too, right? So it's gonna need some work.
And well, here's the why it didn't show, because the
Property
property
tenant.
tenanted, and no showings after 7 p.m. Please follow COVID, basement height under 6 feet. So that's all of the reasons why it's still on the market, right? If you're okay with that, then you can proceed, right?
Now it says offers presented April 4th, but you said it's already been on the market for how many days?
For 36.
So why would they delay offers for over a month?
Because they dropped the price, right?
Oh, I got you. Okay, sorry.
So they want to see as many offers as they're going to get.
Well, especially because it's been on the market for so long now, right? They will probably have not gotten some ideal offers.
And what kind of a
Right.
tenant do
Right,
you
yeah,
have in
they-
there, right? Like who
Right.
wants to deal with a tenant that's not, maybe not paying the rent, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and this is another point where
Well, how long have you known that you're going to sell my mom's place, Yuri? But he said, let's just wait to see what the tenant does. You know, and luckily for me, she was good to her word. But I think Yuri was more excited than me when she moved out, right? Really? Oh, I'll be down tomorrow. But like, yeah.
no, this is true, because even if the tenant has paper signed and everything, until you have the key in your hand and they moved out, then you're good. And because otherwise they can tell you we're moving out, and like, oh, you know what, I didn't find a place, I didn't see the place, I'll stay for another month, another month, and then 7 months later, you have buyer yelling at you, because they gotta live in an Airbnb, and then all of a sudden you have a lawsuit, and like, oh.
Yeah, and that poor tenant, she had quite the sticker shock. She'd been living in my mom's apartment for 23 years.
Well, everybody has a sticker shock. Whoever
Yeah.
has to rent right now, and rented 2 or 3 years, even 2-3 years, out, right? Like before, right? Earlier, because the rents follow the suit, right? Before anyway, I'll call them back. Before, the rentals were, $1,200, something like that, 17 at the most. Well, the 3,000, 3,500 bucks. So.
Well, we had 17. We rented that house on Brant Street. It is an older home, corner lot though, and the garage had been turned into an office area. We were paying $19.25 while we were waiting for our condo to be built. And we saw it go up for lease after we moved out in 20. So we were there for 3 years. And we went, oh, I wonder what they're renting it for now. So we kind of looked up, and they had at least lifted the carpets that were yucky and redid the hardwood floors. But they almost doubled. The rent was $3,050 a month.
Yeah, so again, rent prices gone up, rent gone up. It's all correlated, right?
Yeah.
Those people, have a crazy idea, at least to make their money back, right? Whoever bought the property for the investment purposes, but it doesn't happen all the time, because and I should say, actually, in majority of the cases, doesn't happen, because all of those apartments that investors are buying, they don't cash flow. you know. And God forbid if the tenant leaves. Well, regardless, I guess, whenever the tenant leaves for 1 month, that's when they lose money, right? Because they don't, you know, they probably have a break-even situation, or maybe paying $50 extra to you know, to subsidize, or maybe getting $50 profit. But as soon as the tenant leaves, then they lose the money.
Yeah.
On the same token, like one, I think it was the Edge movie with the Anthony Hopkins. It says, "Don't feel bad for the guy that owns a plane." Meaning, when you have a property that's, you know, gone up from 400,000 to 600,000 or 700,000, don't feel bad for the guy either, right? Because he contributed an extra $5,000 over the 3 years. He made 200,000, so I think it's okay.
Yeah, we had family in a place in Fort Erie, and oh, I'm sure we lost $50 to $100 a month over like 15, 16 years.
Mhm.
And this is the first time since January we've seen a profit. It's like, there's extra money in the account. What's wrong? Oh yeah, no, we're charging market rate now. Well, actually, we're even below market rate, but at least we're being fair. And yeah, it's like, wow.
Well, from investor perspective, what is fair? You're in a business, you got to make money.
Yeah.
Your bottom line is your best friend, right? You got to look at your bottom line. You got to put the emotions aside, because the life situation with your tenants happens all the time. That's why they're renting in. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't say that, but you know, that's is going to be, oh, I lost the job, I this, that, this and the other. It's going to be always an excuse. Don't increase my rent. But this is your business.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that's the reality of life, right? And if there's going to be, well, two things will happen: either you suffer or they suffer. Pick one. And if you don't have an egg and wife, that may work. But if you have an egg and wife, then it's going to be a problem. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You better be. Okay.
No,
That's
not.
all right, Catherine. There's nagging husbands out there too.
Mm.
Oh, big time. I'm one of them. I'm one of them. You know, when it gets to the point, okay, why it hasn't been done? I'll bug you 10 times a day. You know, but I can't beat my mother-in-law. I'll tell you that.
That's because she's had twice as many years of experience. That's all.
Yes, for sure. Well, the world has to stop, and I have to do whatever she says it has to be done right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to my mom's place going on the market, just to get a feel of what's going on, right? Because we're going to be doing the buy-in thing later on. So
Yeah. Well, again, this is just to, I guess, summarize. We have 5 minutes left. I don't think this is a what do you call it, correction, because it's just a seasonal increase in market in inventory. It's just normal thing, like going out of the winter into the summer market or spring market. That's always happens this way.
I think there's another thing there too, Yuri, and that is that as long as in Canada our immigration policy is that we're going to be having immigrants coming in at record pace, there's going to be no slowdown in the market, because we don't even build enough houses right now to satisfy our normal increase in demand.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think Ford said the other week that in Ontario, we get 1 million new people every 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, 1 million new people every 2 years,
Yeah.
You know, like that's a
It's
crazy amount.
250,000, yeah,
It's
properties.
a crazy amount of houses that have to be built, right? Like we're never going to catch up. Our real estate market's going to keep spiraling out of control. You can try put, you know, foreign buyer things on and all that kind of stuff. It just, I don't see there's a scenario where the price of real estate can go down until we say, hey, you know what? We're absorbing more people, letting more people in than we can absorb in, you know, just with our infrastructure and everything. We have to slow it down to a rate that we can do it and
Yeah.
not have, you know, adverse effects on the cost of living.
Well, and I think the municipally, Hamilton's finally getting it. Thank God Barton and Centennial is Hamilton, not Stony Creek, because I just saw a new proposal that was they allowed something more than 7-story high to be built in that area, where the Food Basics Plaza is.
Oh,
They're gonna take over the south part of the parking lot running east-west, where that failed, I don't know, Montanas and Armadillos and all that was. And they're going to put up 3 towers in there. So they're looking at over 1,000 residency. And that's amazing because GO's just north of there. And the LRT hub at Eastgate is just south of there. So
Are the immigrants still kind of concentrating into like the urban centers of the country, or are they kind of more spreading out sporadically? Because I know for the longest time, Toronto and Vancouver seem to be the two top places for immigrants coming to Canada. But are they starting to kind of spread outside of those hubs now?
Again, well, and I'll answer your question, Nathan, in 1 second. But I can't believe I didn't touch on that subject of immigration because I usually do. And yeah, you're absolutely correct. But yeah, as of last month, they had a 660,000 people backlog at the immigration for the last 2 years, and then they have about 400 this year. And we're going to have few 100,000 probably, or maybe 50, I don't know, maybe 100. I don't know how many immigrants from Ukraine. However, that could be observed by that quota, total quota for 400,000. Maybe that's going to be part of that sort of thing. We don't know. Maybe it really depends. But still, that's a million people, like you said, Mike. And maybe we might need about 300,000, 400,000 houses, right? That kind of stuff as of next year, sort of thing. We're not just to buy, right, but to live, for people to live. And I did the math, and we have about 1,000 new developments in Ontario. Let's say they're 300 unit each, which may be right, may be wrong. Maybe, some towers could be more, but some smaller developments like townhouses could be only 50 townhouses, right? But on average, I said, okay, there's 100,000, 1,000 projects at 300. That's 300,000 homes being built, and I go, oh, yoo-hoo, like we're covered. Not really, because those projects are stretched out over 5 to 6 years, right? And we need that 400,000 people coming in every year. That means we have to put about 150 to 200,000 people somewhere every single year. So we're a bit short. So yeah, sorry, Nathan, what was the question?
Oh, just as and you may not even know the answer to this, but I was just wondering, are the new immigrants that are coming in now, because I know over the last 10 years they've been kind of centralized to like the hubs, right? Like in Ontario, it's been Toronto, and then out west it's been Vancouver. Are they starting to migrate outside of those hubs now?
Well, it's so logical. I don't have the numbers or statistics for it, but logically thinking, if the apartment in Toronto is going to be $2,500 or $3,000, they may not be able to afford it, so they would move out somewhere else, right?
Sure.
That's just that's just my way of thinking. And there's going to be a fair portion of people, like one of the guys that's coming from Ukraine. He's a computer programmer. He's not going to go they're coming to Hamilton or Niagara Falls or something like that, right? whichever they don't care where he doesn't care where he's going to be still working for the company in Ukraine.
Well, yeah, and I mean, with all the work from home stuff that's happened over the last 2 years, obviously people can afford to move to Sault Ste. Marie and Timmins and work for a company based out of Toronto, or like you say, based out of the country back home.
Yeah.
Well,
So
awesome.
okay, I think that is all for today. Thank you so much for listening and joining me. Until next week.
Thank you.